She was like,
All right.
Should we develop a special pledge for the community?
yeah, I wonder.
I thought we did that last week. I did not get I am going to confess, I did not get a chance to look through the minutes. But Jill did notice a couple of typos.
Just spelling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that your fault?
Nope.
No, what is this? No, wait a minute.
Let me pull them out. Hold on one second.
I'm assuming, okay, so April 20, April 27th, under resolution 4, change order number 4 for the pool to address the footing drains and existing pipes. So the popes. And just two lines down, Weston Stamps will not compromise the project, I'm assuming?
Oh.
Got it? And on the second page, 4 lines down, county legislator urging them to consider adopting.
Good.
So I just want to note that I love this question and answer outline for the water discussion. Really good. Very helpful.
So if has everybody else had a chance to look it over? Mm-hmm. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April.
I second that.
Roll call, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski,
Yes.
Supervisor Wolf.
Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to do that because I wasn't sure if everybody settled. So we have a few people I think are interested in making either a public comment or speaking to the board.
Should I stand?
Would you
Anything
please
you
stand
want.
and give your name and your place of residence?
Jim Damon, I live in Tilson on Nature's Drive, and I want to thank you both for your help with that festival. I was looking through the permit process today online, and I do kind of feel strongly that if you're going to have something like this, the mass gathering, you should be there to be responsible for what happened to your property and responsive to your neighbors. Yes. Leaving town and letting the rest of us listen to this just seems very wrong in the face of it. I don't know if you could
So you
change.
would like us to consider a condition?
That's one of the conditions of having the permit.
I don't think it needs to, do you think we could make that, we'd have to check with our attorney, where that could be a condition rather than a change of the law.
Yeah, I think that at the very least, it would be good to have the property owner present in the site plan review.
Well, I think, that was one of those situations where the property owner heard about the concerns we had, rather than being here for us to address it with them. And I agree with you on that. I know sometimes we've had people that do site plans and they have a representative, and that's kind of, it's hard to like where to draw that line, because there's some people that have done it very responsibly by like either hiring or volunteer is the representative for that property, entity, corporation. And so I don't know that it's going to apply to every project or every event, but I think it's something to consider.
Would appreciate it.
Did you have anything else on
He should
it?
be there. He's going to subject everybody else to all this noise. He should have to listen to it himself. No, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have a comment? Yes, please stand, say your name and where you live.
Kathleen Wycheck, I live on 49 Grist Mill Road. So I was here at the last meeting, and I had a little difficulty understanding. So I just had a little bit of clarification, and I typed these out.
If you could give that to Mandy, that would be, when you're done, that would be very helpful. If you need him to look at, to tell us.
I have enough, so I mean, if you want to. I didn't know.
Did you want to say
No,
what
if
they
you
are?
don't mind, I'll just kind of go over it
That's
quickly
fine.
because, So, Mr. Michael Moriello, he mentioned the traffic report. He mentioned a couple of things that I just didn't get. I didn't understand, or I just couldn't get. I understand he was having a coughing problem, and that really is not his fault. But I just couldn't get what he was saying.
Okay.
And I don't want to be rude and say I don't know what you're saying, because the poor guy could barely talk. But I didn't understand the results of that impact on Route 32 intersection.
I think what he was saying, there'd be no change, no,
That's
they have
what I
a
kind of got. I
classifications.
couldn't, mhm.
They have classifications when they do traffic studies, and he was saying it would still be the same classification.
Okay,
That's
okay.
basically what he's saying. So
Right.
it's at this level now, it will not raise to the next level, stay
Okay.
at that level.
Okay, I didn't hear those words,
And
so.
he mentioned to two different, I don't remember where they were, but I think it was 32 by the postage gym,
That
and was the other one
I
down
think
by?
it was all that one.
No, he
There was one
mentioned
other
two.
road, one
There
other
were
road. I
two.
wanna say the other one might have been the small, what's that other road?
Yeah,
that
maybe,
goes-
do you think it was Pines Bridge?
Pines Bridge, maybe?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
maybe it was.
So no impact there
Yeah.
either.
Need no impact.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and if you want, I mean, these
What
are
was-
DOT, state DOT classifications, and you can look it up and see what.
I mean, I
the
understand,
different-
I just,
yeah,
I couldn't
Right.
get it. I
right.
couldn't get it. Another thing that he did say that the apartment number was reduced from 48 to 32, but he didn't elaborate on how many are one and how many are two bedroom.
He did say how many are bedroom, how many
Right.
bedrooms altogether.
Exactly,
Is,
but
do we have, does anybody have that?
Total number of
It's
bedrooms.
52, but we don't know
We don't
how
know
many are
the-
one bedroom.
52 or
Yeah.
57, I'd written down 57.
Uh,
In my
52.
notes. But also, he was talking about the percentage of handicapped, and the way I figured out, when I figured out the number of bedrooms, you know, I'm just thinking it would be the handicapped ones that may be one bedroom, I mean, you know, I don't know, I'm interested, I need
So
to
they
know.
were initially basically like almost a 50, like a, was it 60, 40 sort of mix between one and two bedrooms? So it's
Well-
probably a similar ratio, but they will tell us, but they,
Right.
Right, they're
I
not
don't
done,
know
we're not
that
done
answer
with
yet.
this, you know.
But I mean, he said they voluntarily reduced it to 32, so I mean, but I was just, it will make a difference if there are 32 or 27 two bedrooms. It will make it, you know, it'll
Well,
make a
the
difference.
total number of bedrooms is what?
It will make a difference on the bedrooms.
No, I mean
because-
the apartment, then, if it's 32 apartments, but there are 27 of them are two-bedroom
Who's got their
apartments.
calculator?
Right.
That's
All I know is
pretty
he
easy.
gave
well,
the math.
52 total, so.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I'd written down 57, you know, I was just writing really fast when I was trying to listen.
Algebra?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll leave that for somebody else.
yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, even if you said there, you know, 32 of them, if
I
you
know.
said 32 of them, it couldn't be 32 two-bedroom, because you would, you know, you'd have to have, some of those have to be one in order to only have 52, so.
yeah, and see, again, in my notes, I'd written down 57 bedrooms, so I was just trying to write down. It'd be nice if he, you know, spelled it out for us, since he brought it up.
And I will say that it may have been in that report, I just don't remember.
I didn't hear him saying that,
Yeah.
unless he gave you
I
something.
think it was in the materials.
It might be in the material, but we
Okay.
just don't
He
remember.
just didn't say it
Yeah.
when he was standing up there. He also mentioned, which I didn't write down, he mentioned the endangered species, but he didn't address that. So when he stood up, he said he was gonna talk about the traffic, the endangered species, like that.
Well, the
and then-
endangered species is the bats, which we're all, you know, we're aware of.
Right.
That's anything in town of Rosendale has to be evaluated when there's any project. We have to look at the endangered species because we have one in our town,
Right.
which is a bat.
Right.
Could I ask, so Samantha, do you have a copy of this application materials? I'm just
I
saying that.
It's not even one of my questions, I'm just saying
Right.
that
No,
he
but I
stood up
just-
there and said it like this, and then he kind of
Right.
skipped over, and I just do my best to follow
Right.
along,
No.
and this is what I'm just trying to make clear.
Sure.
What I was gonna suggest is you could come in and look at the application
Yeah.
materials that town clerk has, and that'll
Okay.
probably,
So
because he just gave a summary,
I have the intersection.
Oh.
but, you know, there's more.
Well, he didn't say, I
detail.
didn't know it was a summary, okay.
Yeah, it's not the full report. He didn't read the whole report, you know.
Right, well, he
He just gave us an
Right.
overview of what the
Okay.
plans, changes.
So I have the table for the traffic, if you'd like, because there is one change, but it changes regardless of whether or not the project gets built. I don't know why we have, but New York 32 and 213 northbound left turn is an A, grade A, and will remain at that. Route 32, 213 southbound left turn, A, and will remain at A. Tilson Road eastbound left turn is a C, and they project in 2016 it's a C. 2018 with no build, it'll be demoted to a D. Or with a
Demoted or
build,
promoted, I'm sorry.
Demoted.
Demoted.
So it's going to get worse, whether or not, and it's not getting any worse if it is built in terms of a letter grade. Grist Mill Road westbound, left turn. B was, AM peak hours are B, PM peak hours are C grade, and that remains a C grade.
Okay.
And what they're looking at is now 2016, 2018 without the project, 2018 with the project.
All right, thank you,
So-
that's good as well.
And that is available. I mean, there's more information there, but I'm confused by it, so I'm not going to try to.
No,
With or
you can
without
look
the
at it at
project,
the-
the Tilson Road intersection is
Yeah, it's bad and it's
a
not
bad
getting better.
intersection.
Not the Tilson, not by Costa Gym, the other one.
The other
by-
side.
the
Oh,
other-
the other
Headed,
side.
headed toward most
And then, you know, he stated that the project was over an unconsolidated aquifer, and I'm just unclear as to what issues could arise in regards to those neighboring wells that he talked about.
Yeah, so,
Drawdown and possible pollution.
so what he was saying is, and the way you wrote it, it's not quite right. It's not, he's not saying it's problematic. He says they want to be able to check,
Mhm.
to reassure the neighbors. The engineer feels that it won't be affected because of the aquifer, but what they would like to do is be able to draw down on the, you know, run their water, like, you know, do a test and and test the neighbors at the same time to see if there's an effect to the neighbors.
All right, I understood that.
Yeah,
Right.
so so I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, so he just said that if there was some possible negative effect to the drawdown, that's another question, I think it's number 4, then he said that they would move those wells, he said, out back or to the back.
Well, there was 2 things I thought I understood, and maybe I have to clarify that, but I thought he meant there's 2 wells, right? And they would use the other well, which was farther away more, if that was the case, or they would move the well, you know, to another location. But I think that he was talking about going to the well that was farther from the neighbors for the one that they pumped.
But I wonder where that is.
And they're already there.
Right, well, but in his report, he stated that they did not get good information on the wells when the school was, when they were viable wells.
Right, but
said
he
that-
wasn't talking about, I don't think he was talking about I didn't get the impression he was talking about how much water. I think he was talking about how the quality it was, right?
No.
No?
He was talking about a number of things. He talked about the unconsolidated aquifer as being,
As I can say how I understood it, which shouldn't be taken as definitive, but I
Okay.
can tell you what I think he was
Okay.
saying. And it's not on this plan, it's on the actual survey that
Yeah.
indicates where the wells are.
Yeah, I don't have that.
in there.
So,
But what I understood was there are 2 wells existing. They're
Mhm.
both at the north end of the property near Grist Mill Road.
Right,
yes.
one is closer to the back,
One is closer to
the neighbor's
Francis.
house.
the neighbor's house and one is closer to the
Right.
corner, the one in the
Right,
corner.
right.
And what I thought he was indicating is if they need to, they could drill a well further back.
Yeah.
And that's why they wanted to look at the neighbor's wells as they drew that down.
right, and I understand that, because he
Right.
also mentioned the water tank. You know, so I just didn't know, when he says further back, to the back, out and back, I don't know what that
I
is.
think, I wasn't sure that was the only thing he was saying. He said one of the other options was to fill have more storage
Yeah.
and do the fills when people, when they
during
work peak hours.
peak time.
Right, he
draw
mentioned
that
on
storage
what's
tank
in
also,
storage.
right. Mhm.
So if they.
And I know he also mentioned things like we're more water conscious now. I just want to tell you, I have 2 daughters, and they think nothing of taking a 40-minute shower, so.
My son-
Well, I think they're gonna have to, probably use things that
Cold
are,
water.
below.
I'm just saying that's nice to say, and I hope that they do become more water conscious. I'm just saying where they're at
No,
now.
I'm not talking about water conscious, I'm saying the project we could say, we'd like to see them use,
The most water efficient
water
appliance.
efficiency appliances.
Absolutely, and there are some really amazing
And I
ones
think,
out there.
with new codes, almost everything new is anyway,
So did we get I know I got a packet, but do we have a copy of the reports the studies they've done so far? The
Did you get
traffic
that?
report
Yeah.
and
It's,
You mean this?
everything's in there.
Yeah,
This,
Or
this
is there
pen.
complete?
Yeah, that's a lot, besides the previous stuff, which,
the well locations were in the previous survey, not on.
Right, right, that's the stuff they've done since they came, no changes. Did you have one other question?
You know, just that, no, I made that, you know, that assumption about that possible pollution because, you know, I just know a little bit about what an unconsolidated aquifer is like, that's all. And I just, you know, I mean, it's an excellent, it has some excellent qualities, but there's also, you know, the other side. And so I even thought about the beds, the bio beds, which are a great idea, you know, just so long as they're not like my brother trying to change his own oil in the driveway, you know? So you don't know.
Right. You mean green infrastructure and parking lots, is that what you're talking
Yes, but again,
They're not
you know,
supposed to do that anyway. even
they're
though
not supposed to,
No.
absolutely.
Right.
We can only make the rules, and people are gonna do
Right.
what they do.
I know.
Unfortunately, then they get in trouble.
Right. You know, we and the planning board and our planner will definitely be looking at the stormwater
Mhm.
treatment. You know,
Mhm.
they have said that they are going to, you know,
Right.
do the filtration that they need to do to make sure.
Right.
I mean, yes, unconsolidated aquifers, you have to be very conscious of.
Of
But that's half the
leakage.
town is unconsolidated
Right,
aquifers. The other half is a
absolutely.
karst aquifer. All of our aquifers are sensitive, you know,
Right,
so.
right, they are.
So you just have to, we just have to
Mhm.
make sure that, you know, they're
Be
treating it
vigilant
properly.
and- okay.
Exactly.
And our planning board is very good about listing all the things that need to be done to make sure that the project is done in a way that is acceptable. And those are part of the things they do look at.
Right, I know. It's, I just need to know, you know, I
Sure.
need clarification because.
No problem.
And then I just, you know, I put that, you know, that mention there at the bottom, that's all.
About
Okay.
population.
Right. You know, it's the most recent census, it just came out within the last month. And you know, I could get that information for you if you were interested, but it affects all the counties except for Columbia, was the only one that showed growth.
I would have to say that might be true, but I would say in Rosendale, there's not enough departments.
So there was, and I can't remember if I had mentioned this to you earlier or not, but I have it and can send to you. The county, it was actually a study done of several counties that included Ulster County to assess whether there was sufficient multifamily housing opportunities because not everyone can afford to buy a house.
Right,
A single-family house, and there were not.
Okay.
And so I'll send you that study, but that's definitely a lack in our.
Absolutely, I understand that, but I also just want to point out that the Riften Town Board is also struggling with the Anna Devine School, and someone has come in and offered to put apartments in there, and the Riften Town Board said that they would have to initially deny the request because it's a residential area.
Right.
So I understand we're on spot zoning and everything, I'm just.
It's not spot zoning.
Pardon?
It's not spot zoning. It's an application for a overlay district. Spot zoning is different.
Oh, it is, so this has nothing to do with the fact that we're now in spot zoning, that they can.
This is no
put
spot
the-
zoning.
It's incentive
It's
zoning or overlay
It's an
district.
overlay district application.
Spot zoning is if we only change, well, if,
Spot zoning is illegal.
yeah,
Right,
right.
spot zoning is-
That would be changing just one parcel.
Pardon?
That would be changing just one parcel. And
Right.
this was a local law that was looking to reuse, revitalize existing abandoned school properties and things along Route 32. So this just meets that criteria,
Oh, along 32.
as well
And
as schools.
and
because we
I
have
think it was
5.
churches and schools.
yeah, churches.
So if you have buildings that don't
Mhm.
conform with your neighborhoods, and it's being done statewide. I mean, I've been to some seminars through the state that, you know, do talk about how do you revitalize areas that either churches or schools that have been abandoned, and this is one of those. This is really what that was about. And otherwise, you have it sitting there vacant for 20 years, like it was. You know? So it's not spot zoning. Spot zoning is if you let somebody do something that's not allowed anywhere in, you know, not allowed.
You're changing the
You're
use.
changing the use of properties, but this was not, this was never a residential property. It was
So also, another piece of this that's really important is that the town's comprehensive plan covers housing. And one of its key recommendations is to make sure that there are a variety of housing options available in the town at prices people can afford.
Well, I'm not disputing that, and I'm not disputing that, you know, it is already a project. I'm simply stating that there are ways to do things, and we have to be careful. And the town board of Riften has hired a person or a company to see what would be, to go out there and look and see what they could bring in that would be viable to their community. So I'm not saying that that's where we need to go or that you haven't already done that.
Well, I think our town already made a decision to do overlay district, and that's been decided, it was decided, you know,
I'm just saying that, you know, there are, you know, there's other things happening out there. And this is in my backyard. I'm not disputing that we don't need those.
Well-
I'm just saying I need to be clear and vigilant.
And I think, you know, the town board wants to make sure that all the kinds of concerns that you're bringing up are addressed, and that we really try to mitigate whatever we can going forward. And, you know, it's gonna have a review from us, it'll have a review from, it'll still have to go before the planning board.
Right.
And
I
it'll
know
have
there's a
all
lot of-
all those steps will still be done.
You know,
And we're,
good,
right now, that whole application is being reviewed by our planner, and there's engineers, you know, associated with them, so they'll be looking at what their engineers say.
Mhm.
They'll be looking at them to make sure that it's all, you know, that everything is exactly what they say it is.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else that had public comments or questions?
Well, it's so nice to see you early in the morning and last thing at night. First thing in the morning and last thing at night.
Always a pleasure. Okay, any community events?
When's the parade?
You
The
you already
Mermaid
told me that this morning, you,
No, I told you about the Mermaid Parade, Memorial Parade.
Oh, it's
I
Monday.
thought it would
on
be
Memorial
on.
Day.
Monday, isn't it 10 or 11?
All right, just checking. So it is on the Monday,
It
not
is
on the
Monday.
Sunday, right?
It's
Yeah.
always on the.
It's always Monday.
And step off at 11? 10?
Line up is at
Step off
9.
at 10?
Well, line up is at 9.
Okay. Lineup is at 9?
Right? Isn't it? It's usually at 9.
Do you remember, Jill?
Line up at 9, start at 10.
Okay.
I may have,
I think 9 was correct,
I may have a guess, 3.
I guess.
That's fine.
Maybe we'll walk
All right, why don't we start with our committee reports?
So for our Justice Court, I reviewed the April books for Justice Pate and Hornbeck. I looked at the cash receipt book, the comptroller's report, fines receipt book, fines bank statement, bail receipt book, and the bail bank statement, and all numbers reconciled. I also reviewed deposit slips, which also reconciled. Other court news, this was with the JCAP monies, that they were able to install the new secure door for prisoner entry at the back of the room. The cameras are being installed there as well as throughout the rest of the municipal center. And it was noted that there's been a great amount of cooperation between the courts, so everybody's pleased with the arrangement.
You got one more installation. So I think, what's it called? Metal detector.
Oh,
Can't miss it.
Right?
only if you
First
ask
thing
for
I
it.
We're
up
gonna
front.
ask them to move it down here and everybody has to walk through.
It's like you're taking flight.
Might take a while.
Yeah, the new metal detector, thank you. And also, the clerks and justices have been clearing old cases, some of which go back as many as 20 years ago. And so we're making great strides in getting the court in order.
Getting it up to date.
I'm only for the A's on mine.
That's still actually significant.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I was saying, at least one of these cases was literally a dead case.
Oh, if any are my boys, just throw it in the closet. They've been gone a long time. Just get rid of it.
So for the Environmental Commission, they're finalizing their document on potential impacts to consider for the scoping of the Pilgrim Pipeline. Their newest member, Sharon Wycheck, will be assessing water quality testing in the Rosendale Creek at 4 public access points. They will be running a creek event this September. Not sure exactly the dates yet, but it will be here in Rosendale, and it will be involved. It will focus on WAVE, sampling and outreach, and WAVE is water assessments by volunteer evaluators.
So can I ask you a question?
Do I have to
No
answer?
questions.
2 questions, actually, sorry. One is it macroinvertebrate testing, or is it E. coli
That's
testing?
really unfair.
Actually, but I know the answer. The WAVE is macro.
Okay.
And the other
I
is the
just asked because
riverkeeper
of the
sampling for
swimming
E. coli.
Yeah, so they are doing E. coli. Okay,
Yes.
that's good. That's good.
But not during the creek week event.
Do you know the 4 spots? That's the
I
sampling?
do,
then?
but I don't have them all.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get them to you. It's one's underneath, one's the town park property below the walkway, and one is near the thruway over the pass.
Great.
I think there were 4, and it's now down to 3 because one was not
Right.
entirely public.
I would really like to see our town, it doesn't have to be the Environmental Commission, but as part of it, it could be really an MS4, credit toward MS4, like public information and awareness, but
Oh, just you
send
wait. I have
a
no news.
letter around just reminding people to maintain their septics, because that's the main cause.
Right.
Well, that's your
but-
opinion, that's not necessarily, we were at that meeting and they have not evaluated what the.
Well, it's just,
There's a lot of animal, they know there's a lot of animal, they try, that's one of the reasons they need to do these tests, is to try to figure out where, there's some discussion was about how many geese are really, hanging out all year long on the creek in Rosendale. And there's some, discussion about that, so really, we need to be careful.
And the sampling that is taking place, that riverkeeper is doing, suggests that actually, most of the changes happen between the main part of High Falls and Rosendale, so not necessarily
There's some-
the homes that we can send letters to, not necessarily Rosendale
Right,
residents.
right.
So that-
Well, it's
But yeah, we
it's
could
kind of
document.
obvious from the data,
Well-
the pattern of the data, that it's septic, or
Yeah.
a lot of septic.
Well,
So, but,
yeah, you also see where it increases, but I'll take that back to him. I'm happy to take that back to him on exactly that point, public outreach, MS4, et cetera. The Environmental Commission is working on creating a series of rotating announcements and slides that will be shown at the Rosendale Theater. And
Oh,
that sort of-
great.
So, and they will be able to adjust them as appropriate.
oh, that's great. Just one other question about the Pilgrim
Oh.
scoping. So now the decision on lead agency has been finalized, and there's 20 days from that decision, which was, when was that?
I don't
2
remember
weeks
the
ago,
date.
or
Seems like it was less than
a
2
week
weeks.
and a
Wasn't it
half ago?
before-
Between a
just-
week and 2 weeks ago.
It's just a couple of days before our last meeting, right?
Yeah, it was, so they have 20 days to declare it a type 1 action, which they will, and then the scoping starts. So if there's a way we just want to make sure that we are ready to go with scoping comments, because it's a 60-day window, and
There
they're
were
not
just 2
accepted
items
beyond.
that they were following up on, and I don't have in my notes what they were. It was
Okay.
something we needed to look at more maps for.
Was
The
it that-
email to you was May 2nd,
Mhm.
that the email was received for the decision.
And I know we're kind of jumping around, but do we have any word on what's going on with the Senate?
With the bills? No, I mean.
With the bills.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I mean, it's, right now, it's just Walkhill, I got a call from the town of Walkhill, they just passed a resolution, and Kingston did, and they're just hoping more towns.
What about the whole thing about the villages and cities objecting to uses?
The environmental organizations are meeting with the DEC tomorrow morning about that, whether they can.
Sorry, Chris.
No, it's all right.
We have kind of, it's overlapping in two different things.
And my report overlaps because the next thing is the Rondap Municipal Center. And the surveillance cameras are being installed throughout, not just in Justice Court. So this is going on right now, improving safety and security of the building for our employees, for our public. The facilities manager has upgraded to swipe card access, similar to the hotel, actually I think exactly like hotel software, for facility rentals and things, so that we're not going to be spending a lot of time and money chasing after keys. They can just void cards if they're forgotten.
We had a lot of doors left unlocked too, that was another issue, that's why. One of the
Yeah.
reasons we went to that.
Yeah, the unstated reason
So are all
was-
the doors going to be?
Not yet, but right now, the one where when people, when they rent the gym, they're gonna come in. from there.
Okay.
It's primarily
We
issues
were having
with the
trouble
gym.
with them leaving and nobody could figure out how to lock the door right, and it's like, this is just a better system.
And often thinking that they had locked it. I mean, I was
Right,
here
right.
one night when they said it's all taken care of. And it just wasn't intuitive for the general public. And also difficult because when you have the gym rentals, you might have many more people coming in at different times, so you don't know when's the last one in to lock it, or if somebody goes out and needs to come back. So this should solve all of that, where he can actually have it keyed that at 11 p.m., when everybody's supposed to be gone, that card no longer acts as a key. So, so there's that. Our own wing, the hall directly behind this wall at the back of the room is now decorated with a host of lovely and historic images, courtesy of our town historian, and encourage people to stop by during normal business hours and take a look at the exhibit. Transfer station, oh wait, there's still more. We have a Blackboard Cafe now here in the Rondap Municipal
Bistro.
Bistro. We have to get better at
Alliteration.
taking notes. They're serving breakfast and lunch, and even doing Throwback Thursdays, which I can't list
Turkey
specifics. Some people are very fond of the turkey cubes and don't want to eat all of them, but every Thursday, they're doing school lunches. So if anybody's feeling
I'm sending
nostalgic
out
for that.
Facebook invitation, turkey cube.
It's quite good. I eat there every day.
Yeah, bagels, breakfast sandwiches, coffee.
Banana pancakes this morning.
Mystery meat?
Come on Thursday.
I don't know, that's a good suggestion.
Okay, so that was it for the municipal center.
I think they had sloppy joes last week.
Oh.
It's a good one.
That's a good one.
You only ate those in school.
You're a different generation.
Garlic salt and, yeah, no. Pizza bagels were not with all that. Sorry. For the transfer station for April, I've got that report. After, let's see, the total after paying for the bins, pull fees, rental fees, recycling and fuel to Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency, we still made $2,842.65. For the month, sold 41 full permits, 9 limited permits, 1 extra, 8 one-day passes, 22 book of 25 coupons, and 14 books of 5 coupons. So still doing very good business through the transfer station. I got to talk to George about the bottles and cans.
We did
I'm not-
something today.
What about it?
He's not able to
I
get
don't-
out to them, that's the problem.
Oh,
He has
What's
to
the
take them to
problem?
Kingston. We don't
Okay.
have staffing to
Oh,
get
yeah.
them.
Oh, that
So
was
we do
TJ's
have a job
thing.
Yeah.
listing might want to.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't have bottles and cans because we're short-staffed, and we are hiring, looking to hire just a summer seasonal employee that would be 1 day a week. 2 days a week. One of those days would be Saturdays to help while Renee, our wonderful recycling coordinator, is out. So if you know anybody,
It's temporary, it's
So
a
it'd be
temporary
a-
position.
One weekday and one Saturday, right?
in addition to the smiles and,
Find out all the news in
yeah, please
town.
contact the clerk's office to find out specifics.
They get the most news up there.
They do. It's a place to find out
Yeah.
everything.
You're
You
out-
should go plant yourself up there.
And you get to see the dogs.
Yeah,
Oh,
you do, you
there's
get to
that.
visit the dogs.
Out in the fresh air, lots of fun, good fun.
But yeah, please contact the clerk's office with any interest in that, and we will find out the information that I don't, the answers I don't have tonight. So, thank you, that's it for me.
Very nice. Okay. Let's start with the pool. The pool is, if anybody's noticed the progress over there, they're doing more of the finished details now. We're troweling on like a finer coat on the top whole rim of the pool, and then put in the drain gutter
Scudder.
gutter pieces.
No, they're
Scudder.
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 Oh, yeah, scudder.
Scudder
pieces.
tiles.
Tiles, which are about this long. You see them in stacks there, and they're laying them. And then they have done the tiling, like the blue turn tiles at the end of your lane when you're swimming. You see this blue cross in a mosaic tile. And they're just generally preparing for the final to get it ready for painting. So this is all troweling, farging, and tooling the finer surfaces. The swim chairs are there, the lifeguard chairs are there. Most of the underground work, piping and testing is done.
Bob was doing his part.
Yeah,
today.
down, further down, but you'll notice that most of the backfill's back in, where it was huge piles, especially in the back corner. There was mountains of dirt, and that's mostly taken care of and all, piped, tested, and ready to go. There is, the work on the bathhouse has taken a while because the funding for that is New York Rising. We got a special offer from New York Rising to turn the bathhouse into a super bathhouse for storm center with showers and that kind of thing, heat. So that's costing a lot of money. They are paying for it, but since they're paying for it and they're a state agency, there's bureaucracy, and that means delays. So the bathhouse work will not be complete by the time projected pool date opening happens, which would be 1st of July or early July. So we're working on a plan for temporary facilities, which would be temporary hand washing stations and temporary outdoor shower, I think.
I think they want a foot washing place.
Right.
And and I've heard they, maybe somewhere between 7 and 9 now.
Right,
toilets.
porta
Yeah.
potties. Could be up to 9 porta potties.
We're trying to figure out where they want them.
Right.
That's been a little bit of an issue.
Right.
Is where to place them. So
Right, you would want
Tara's kind of
some-
talking to the health department about that.
Right. You wouldn't want all, like we had
Don't
8.
need eight- we
You
don't
don't
need
need
9
8
of them
right there.
right
You
there.
want maybe some a little
And
bit
they've got to
more
be
remote.
pumped every day and stuff, so she's working on that with Johnny and Spot.
Right. But that's based on like a high number at
Yeah,
the outdoors
peak
of
day.
500 people, like in pool, around pool, and also playground. So that's a lot of people.
But that would allow it to still open, start.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
Right.
been very good about saying they'll work with us.
Let's go to planning department. Took in $50 this month. The planning board, meets tomorrow in this room at 7 p.m. And the item on, well, I'll tell you what happened last month was not much, just a site plan review for Swartout property, which is on White Park Road. Just a bluestone mainly storage lot. It's an empty lot alongside the freeway near where the rail trail dumps onto Whiteport Road, right where the thruway overpass is.
It was the tennis court.
No.
You're in a totally different area of town.
Oh,
It's off Whitewood.
oh.
That's,
Street Bush.
right.
So I just kind of,
His application is still in process. Tomorrow, at the planning board meeting, they will be, begin review of the application for change or construction on the mobile gas station, formerly Sunoco gas station. There's been an addition built on the back, and the addition was built, a skip in the process, approval process occurred, where as the building inspector read the code to allow such an addition, the change from the word "or," it's one of these things, if you read it as an "and" not an "or," this would have been allowable. So it was an oversight on the building inspector's part. Now the planning board has to review that project for approval in reverse. In other words, it's now being submitted. Although the building's already built, shingles are on the roof, it is being submitted for approval by the planning board. So we'll see what happens. There's a stop work order on the construction, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night and, in upcoming meetings.
Since it's on 32, is the county?
Yeah,
as well?
yeah. That's an involved process if anybody wants to ask me more about it. We had in last month's meeting, this is what happened. It came up in last month's planning board meeting. We all kind of saw, I was at the meeting, we all kind of saw that building pop up at the same time, me and all the planning board members. And everybody said, what's this? So that's when it came to our attention. We contacted the building inspector and our planning consultant and our town attorney just to see how to go about, reeling this back in or addressing it. And so I set up a special meeting with our town attorney, 2 members of the planning board, and the building inspector to just review the code and see where exactly we may have gone wrong and what happened. And then now we're moving forward. The owner of the property readily submitted an application to change the site plan. So it's in process. If you want to peek in on tomorrow night's meeting, it's a public meeting, 7 p.m. right here. There's a pre-application part of tomorrow night's meeting, which starts at 6:30, whereas a customer comes in to meet with the board to consider a project or a change in their property they're considering. And it's an opportunity, this pre-application process, where you come in without having filled out any forms or paid any fees. You can learn about the probability of your project being something doable, so you don't waste a lot of time. The whole planning board and all their expertise can kind of shortcut you through that process. The building department. A little bit slower in April, but still a very busy last year and 4 months. The total fees collected were $3,513. 8 new building permits.
since when?
That's April. The water and sewer. The main action was our meeting in April 6th here, where it was part of our workshop town board meeting, but we had an information session on the water main change on Main Street. So we're still waiting for that to begin. The delay had been in just getting final engineering specs on the piping to go over the Peter Avenue Bridge.
We
Any
had-
news
we-
on that?
Yes, so we had another little delay because DOT requested an insurance bond for the ADA compliance. So remember
Oh,
that
yeah.
this ADA compliance came up as a last minute thing because the code changed, I guess it was in March, like
Yeah.
a month before we're starting, and the ADA compliance changed. So we included that in our project, but then the last minute they said, oh, and by the way, you need a bond. And we went back and forth because the insurance company was saying, we've never done this before, we don't have to give bonds for this, it's supposed to be the contractor does it. We were prepared to go forward and get it, but at the last minute, they basically said, we'll take the bond from the contractor. So now we stopped that process on Thursday, and we've been told it's going forward with, getting the paperwork for the bond through the contractor.
Right.
So hopefully that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the, feedback from our engineers now that DOT's accepted everything and waiting for that process.
Right.
That's the final step.
That should be the final step.
And that ADA compliance, at the meeting on the street back in March with the sidewalks, since the sidewalks will be disrupted for the water main change. The new ADA rule is that sidewalks need to be 5 foot minimum, and the DOT folks who were there, several of them at that meeting, said obviously our sidewalks get kind of wide and they get really narrow in their houses and the road that's really limited, so we were sort of a textbook case of exempt from that rule. In other words, it would be rather impossible to have 5 foot open sidewalk the whole way, unless we narrow the street. So at this time.
But there were a couple of changes that will happen, and I had,
Right.
so it'll be where the crosswalks are now. They will be ADA compliant, so
Right,
people
those-
can get up and on the sidewalks. And it'll also be changing the ADA compliance where you cross Hardenberg and Snyder, and any place where they disturb a sidewalk that isn't a driveway, they'll have to change how those ramps will have to be addressed. But it'll only happen on the ramps where they're being disturbed because the lines are there.
Right.
If the line is
Right.
not on that driveway, it won't be,
That'll be left.
it'll be.
Right, so there'll be a net improvement on the ramps. I mean, definitely on each street, like Snyder and Hardenberg. Those ramps will be totally fresh and ADA compliant. The sidewalks will both be, the crosswalks will both be improved, including patch painting, no parking zones on each side of the crosswalk to improve, safety.
And the one I had just made mention will be moved farther down by the
Right.
post office because they're right next to 2 grates.
Really
They're-
deep grates,
Yes,
like the
so they're
deepest.
going to be moved down closer to the entrance of the post office.
Right. Water and sewer took in $58,214.41 in April. Bookkeeping review I did last month. That's just a review that I do, as one more pair of eyes on the books. This month there's a little bit of a delay in that transition of Doris leaving and Kim taking on the super job. It's a little hard for me to get on their computer because it's really busy in there, and also there was a death in the family, so I'll be going there later this week or next week. I think that's my report. Did I miss anything?
Bob's not here, we don't have to pass it around to people.
Okay, we're going to do all the financial reports first. Dog control took in $286.26. Youth took in $6,521. A lot of that was camp and also for the car show, sponsors for the car show. Rec Commission took in $2,597.75. And the police department took in $20.
Jen, did they say how many applicants they have for the car show so far?
I didn't get that report, but
Do you
they
know?
said they've gotten a good number of
It's slow.
sponsors.
It'll be a small group.
I believe so.
Yeah,
Well, that's what happens when you break the cycle, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the date?
But they've raised a bunch of money in sponsorships.
29.
I got it.
29?
May
Yeah.
29.
Yeah, and they're looking for volunteers. I'm getting it. I'll start with youth.
Yeah.
Since we're there. Since we're there already. So, yeah, so I was actually here with you for a meeting, so I was late to the youth commission meeting. I missed the first part, but but Benny is here and you can add to it. But they basically spent some time talking about the car show. These are my, yes, as I said, they have a DJ all day, and they are looking for volunteers. So if anyone is interested in volunteering for the car show, please call the youth center and let them know. But of course, we're doing a lot of hires for counselors and lifeguards and everything, so that's on the agenda. Also, did I mention last time the Stewart's grant, that the Youth Commission got a Stewart's grant, $1,500? Okay, good. The police department, I just want to mention that the Rosendale Police Department has been recognized and selected to receive an award by the Police Chiefs Association of Ulster County. It's an investigation award, so very proud of them. That's going to happen on, let's see, on June 8th. And, I have to say it's been really great, rewarding for me to be the liaison to the department. We're very fortunate to have such a great department. Let's see, a lot going on with the Rec Commission. Actually, I'll just mention before I get there. So the dog control, we have 3 wonderful dogs up for adoption. If anyone knows of anyone who might be interested in a lovely dog, they're all very sweet.